Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. I decided to start this right now because of the fact that me and the Cognitive Gamer were talking about something very specific, which was the idea of listening to yourself on your own podcast. So let's keep on with that train because that was actually really it was really interesting. So
let me ask you a question.
Okay, yeah.
Say you made a CD, okay, and you're like the singer and guitar player, okay, and then you made love to said CD. What would that feel like?
It would probably suck because A, the hole on the CD is not very big. B, when a CD breaks, it's basically glorified shrapnel.
I'm not saying you make love to... God
You just said you make love to the CD. You said
to the songs and the...
You
to the sounds being emitted from the stereo, which is currently playing. Okay, so you're getting tender with a lady, okay?
Okay.
Right?
Welcome
right?
to PostGrad.
And you're like, yo!
Movies. Welcome to PostGrad Movies, everyone, by the way. Keep going.
You want to get tender with a woman.
Okay.
Step one, don't listen to this podcast.
Or a man, because...
Either way, we don't discriminate.
We don't discriminate. You're
Step
two. Movies.
Step two. So you're trying to get, tender with a woman, okay? Or man.
Or man.
But you specifically.
Or any kind of person that is interested or not interested in sex and their gender, or they might be intergender or whatever. We're going to keep going with this.
All right, so you want to get tender.
So you're going to get tender with a person.
With that list of whatever
with a
that
list
person
of
may be or enjoy.
Correct terms, yes.
Well, whatever, anyway. And you go to the stereo and what really just does it for me is listening to the CD I made. I call it Tender Nights because I'm getting tender with the ladies at night, or whatever that list of people is. And you turn that on. What's your reaction and what's the other person's reaction?
First off, let me just go ahead and say that I would never do this.
You're starting the podcast with a lie. I don't know if I appreciate that.
But anyway, if I were to do that, I would probably be like, yeah, that's a pretty cool song. And then the other person would be like, this is really weird because you're not singing to me, but you are singing to me through the radio.
But you're singing.
But you're singing, but you're not singing. You know what I mean? Like, you're singing,
right?
But you're not singing.
It's like being on Ambien.
Is that what it is? I've never had Ambien, so I don't know.
I accidentally took it once.
And how did that feel?
I tried to drive.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, you actually told the story in the podcast a ton of podcasts ago.
That sounds like my experience on Ambien. It's like, you're talking to me, but you're not talking to me, but you're talking to me. But it's not you that's talking. It's talking to me. Yeah, it's crazy. So
no, wait.
Okay, pretend you're Kanye West.
Well, Kanye would do that just to. He would.
It's like an Aziz joke, Aziz Ansari.
Kanye West would have him, and he'd be doing his thing with the chick, and then he'd be like, "Wait a second, I'm going to put on my own song." He'd put it on, and then he'd be like, "You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and masturbate while I look at you, and we'll call it a night."
So let's pretend we had a cloning device.
Oh, God.
And we put you in a nightclub, and you're doing some, comedic routines. And the audience is made up of only you. The bartender's you. It's you.
Everyone is me.
Everyone is you.
That is a really crappy audience. That audience is awful.
So what would they laugh at the jokes that you're making?
Well, I've laughed while I'm editing the podcast, so I'm going to go with yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's all I wanted to know. I just wanted to know if we somehow found a cloning machine, you would laugh at your own jokes.
It's one of
those... Would you also heckle yourself? Because that's kind of like making fun of yourself, though.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, you would do that.
Oh yeah, I do it all the time. It's
off the stage, you hack. It's funny because I'm the hack. Yeah. And then the other yous would laugh because they thought that was funny, even though it's not that funny. But to you, it's funny.
Oh my God. Well, see, for me, it's one of those things where while I'm editing the podcast and whatnot, I sometimes will get to a part and it'll be just really, really funny. And I'll be surprised at how funny it is because, while it was happening, it made sense at the moment. But sometimes when you listen to it outside of the moment, it's not as funny as it anymore. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like just stuff in general is like that.
Right.
It's like when showing
funny.
Yeah, it's like when showing someone a funny YouTube video or something and then they don't laugh.
That's the worst.
Yes, it is. So that's the kind of thing that I would like to not happen in the podcast. But there's also sometimes when I'm listening through it while I'm editing, and we get to a point in a movie where we're talking back and forth about one of the movies, and we make some really good points sometimes, like some really coherent, wonderful talks, and I'm like, wow, that is impressive, because that's true. Like, that is really true.
And then sometimes you're like, what is this garbage?
And then sometimes we decide to give Smaug different voices from different celebrities and start imitating it for like 10 minutes.
And you don't know how to edit it, and you don't. All right,
10 minutes of straight Smaug voices.
Let's just make a podcast of that. Why don't we start that? We could have the normal podcast, and then we have the Smog Voices podcast. I mean, the third one's coming out, the Battle of the Five Armies.
Yeah,
which is that's the terrible name. Why do all the Hobbit movies have terrible names? What was the first one called? There and Back Again?
The first one, An Unexpected Journey.
Unexpected Journey.
Yes.
Second one was...
Your time.
Desolation of Smaug.
There you go.
Okay. The third one was supposed to be There and Back Again.
Yes, it was.
And they changed it to the Battle of Five Armies.
So There and Back Again might be its own movie, number 4. All right, yeah.
No, I think the studio was like, that sounds like a pansy-ass film. We're not calling it There and Back Again, even though that's totally what he called his own book. Anyway.
Yes.
We're calling it the Battle of Five Armies because you know what 14-year-old boys like? Battles. Armies. Especially when there's 5 of them. Battle of Five Armies.
Yes. And actually, that's part of the news, so we will be talking about that in a little bit. Anyway. How was your week, Cognitive Gamer?
God, I didn't do anything this week.
Did you not do anything? Because I heard there were a couple of great games that came out this week.
Okay, so let me just start with the base. So I teach at a preschool.
Oh, right.
Okay. So I've been doing that, and we have 5 kids. And you know that bit with Louis C.K. talking about his 4-year-old daughter and how she just says the most useless shit?
Yes.
Try doing that for a job.
But with 5 of them.
Well, most of them are pretty coherent or say cool things. There's one girl there that every 5 seconds she's like, Mr. V, guess what? I'm like, what? Cows are white sometimes. Yeah, I guess. We weren't talking. Yeah, they are. That's great. Mr. V, guess what? Oh, what? Last night, I went to bed. Oh, shit.
No, wait.
Oh, my God.
You have to introduce everyone in the podcast to your I'm a teacher voice. Can you do that right now? Can you pretend you were talking to one of the kids?
Hey, you little shits. I'm just kidding.
You teach in an inner city school, and you're going to have to, rough them up and maybe teach them to write really well and express themselves through their journals.
They're 4 years old. They're 4 years old, okay?
Anyway, where was I? Express themselves through their journals and the stuff that they write, and then someone will pick up the movie rights to that and make a film about inner city kids and writing their feelings, and that thing is still working in schools nowadays. It's a very successful program and people really enjoy it, and that's Freedom Writers, which is actually a decent movie. I like it.
Are you sure it's not Stand and Deliver?
Are you sure it's not any other of the I'm going to take disparaged kids and make them into good writers, good teachers, good students, good football players, good baseball players, blah, 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 overcoming adversity?
Why do white people like feeling empowered when they're already empowered?
Why is that kind of thing a thing? Just movies like that. Why are they
because white people like feeling like
they're doing good.
Yeah, good for you, white person, teaching those not white people to act more like white people.
But at the same time, it's one of those white guilt type of things, which is just annoying.
Yeah. Memphis was still the most shameless example of it. It was a play I saw in Denver.
Really?
And there's a whole song about this mom who's totally racist, and she's like, I'm not racist anymore. And there's old ladies next to me. I was kind of like, good for her. Good for her, the white girl. Racist anymore. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like you're getting empowered on something that's a basic human. That's like good for you, 45-year-olds eating.
Oh my God.
Drinking coffee in the morning. Good for you for being a normal human being. Good for you.
Wow.
It pisses me off.
I pictured it in my head so clearly just one old lady turning her head to the other one and saying, "Good for her."
That's what happened. They were old and white, and they're like, they said the N-word. We don't like that. I'm like, God.
I can't take it. I can't take it. Tell me more about your week.
Written for 60-year-old white women, 70-year-old white women, to make them feel better.
Oh.
Because they don't like other human beings, but sometimes they put up with them. Anyway, my week was pretty boring. Over the weekend, I watched a lot of Game of Thrones. I'm officially on season 3.
Oh, wow.
My fiance and I have been blasting out a season every weekend. So I just received season 3 in the mail, and I'm hoping to have that chugged along.
That is intense.
Yeah. Okay. What else did I do? Oh, I played video games.
Oh, of course you did.
Right. So the first one's Destiny.
Tell me about Destiny.
The Destiny beta came out for the PlayStation 4 exclusive first.
What is Destiny?
Destiny is Bungie, the makers of Halo's new shooter MMO thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a question, cool guy. I'm the cognitive gamer. This is cool guy. I don't know if we said that. Now's probably not the time to say it. But let me ask you a question, cool guy.
Yes, cognitive gamer.
Did you ever play Phantasy Star Online?
Phantasy Star Online.
Back in, I think it was on the GameCube and the PlayStation 2?
Oh, crap. I think I recall that game.
It was one of the very first online games. I know it was on the Dreamcast. I'm almost positive it was. But the whole point of it was it was an RPG, but it was an action RPG.
Right.
And you meet at a hub, and then you're like, yo, you want to team up? And they're like, yeah, sure, because there's nothing better to do. And then you go to a map, and then you kill stuff, and then you get experience and gear, and they do it all over again. That is Destiny, but this time it's a first-person shooter.
Oh.
Way better.
So it's like raids in World of Warcraft mixed with Halo.
So imagine that you took Halo,
okay,
you threw it in a big pot. You took Borderlands, you threw it in a big pot. You took Phantasy Star Online, you threw it in the pot. You mixed in pieces of Call of Duty, pieces of modern day MMOs, and you got yourself Destiny.
So do you connect to places and just do missions with a bunch of people, or are you actually and actively playing the game, and then all of a sudden people just get dropped in a la Journey?
More like Journey, but it could be both ways. Okay, so hold on. Let me get to the page, because I wrote this big nice thing. It's on IGN.com. I'm the Cognitive Gamer. You can read my blog. It's whatever.
He has a blog, is the point.
I guess nobody reads it. Some people actually read it. I'm surprised. Anyway, so there's 4 different modes. Okay, so there's story mode, which plays out exactly like Halo. Did you ever play Borderlands?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how there's it's kind of split up into main huge areas that you can travel between?
Yes.
So imagine that, and in the middle of that said area, there's a base. Okay, you get to the base and you start a story mission, and it actually says you can't respawn once you start the story missions.
Oh, really?
And it plays out exactly like Halo. You get to a door, and you're you're Cortana, you're Peter Dinklage voice Cortana. Holy God, Cortana.
I think what you were gonna say is you're Cortana or whatever, and you were just like Cortana. You mushed together. So you're Cortana, yes.
So your Cortana is yo, I can open this door, and you're like, cool. Why not? I'm a space marine thing from the moon.
Okay.
Literally, that's what you are. And you open the door, and then all of a sudden it's eerie, and there's music, and it's oh my God, we've awakened the Hive, aka the Flood. And it's nice. Oh my God, the Fallen won't like this, aka the Covenant, or no, the Elites, and Grunts. Yeah, they're the Covenant. Yeah, they're oh my God, they won't like this, but you were trying to kill him anyway, so this kind of works out. So it's okay, I'll just shoot him in the face.
Fair.
So it's that. So that part feels very Halo-y.
Yeah.
And I like Halo, so that was actually a lot of fun. But then at the end of the very first tutorial missions, you kill this gigantic boss thing, and then that's where it felt really Borderlands-esque. Because it's not story. There's not anything you're uncovering. It's literally we need to get this warp drive. Oh, it's guarded by this giant thing. Shoot it in the face for 5 minutes and unload every clip while it tries to shoot you.
Yeah, right.
And take it down. There's numbers popping off, and it's very Borderlandsy. And the story missions, I don't know. I don't think random people can join you, but you can like team up beforehand and then do the story mission.
Oh, that's really
I think
cool.
up to 3 people, right? And then there's free roam mode, which is like a la Journey, which we'll see in the video that we're gonna put up.
Yep.
Or if like random people just pop into your world and you kind of like do. They're kind of like really shitty missions that you
Yeah.
can find. They're really bad. They're like, no, literally, you go to this beacon and you press a button. It's like, yo, kill like 10 of these. And you're like, all right. And the next one's like, yo, you need to collect these things by killing 10 of these. And they're like, isn't that the same mission? They're like, no, you're collecting stuff now that they drop. I'm like, oh, okay. And then there's another one's like, you have to kill this one dude. Didn't I just do that? Like, kill those dudes? No, this dude's different. He'll run away. All right, I guess I'll kill more dudes. They're really bad. They're really bad missions. Like, they're not fun. But while you're in that mode, random public events will happen, and those are a lot of fun. It's like all of a sudden, 5 minutes of like 10 random people, including yourself, have to take down this giant tank. And that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, free roam mode's kind of crap, but it's a good way to grind. Like if you're like level 5 and the next story mission's level 6, it's just like, I guess I'll do this. But the multiplayer or Crucible is I'm really enjoying it because it reminds me of Halo 3. Like it plays a lot like Halo 3.
Nice.
It's Halo 3. It's Halo 3 mixed with a little bit of Reach, but it's not as. I mean, it was still very low level, but you know how in Reach everybody had like different powers and you had to adjust to it?
Yeah.
It's like a very simplified version of that. So it's like 3, but some people can float.
More straightforward, basically.
Yeah, totally. It reminds me way more of 3 than it does Reach, which is great because 3 was way better than Reach. Yeah, so Destiny's a thing, but then my TV broke, so I can't play it.
Oh, right now. That's sad.
Yeah, I've been trying. No TVs work except for my mom's in her bedroom, so I would have to play when she's not here using the TV
right
in her bedroom, which sucks. So I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone.
Yeah,
because the new thing dropped, and it's like a bunch of story missions, and they're just kind of like challenges you complete.
Right.
And fuck, are they hard? I'm sorry for cursing, but
really?
Holy shit. Yeah, like I beat the first wave pretty easily.
Okay, whoa. Please explain how these story missions are. Is it like a tournament thing? Is it like just a wave of people you got to beat over and over and over again?
So you're playing against the AI, and there are like 3 bosses. So it's called the Curse of Noxramas or some shit like that. I don't care. I don't play WoW. And there's 5 wings, and the first wing's free. So you click on it, and it opens up, and it's like, there's 3 bosses. Kill the bosses. So you have to kill all 3 bosses. Now it's really easy. I beat each one in like 1 or 2 tries using my normal decks.
Yeah.
And then it's like, congratulations, you earned all these cards. Now try these challenges. And it's like they give you a deck, and you have to beat certain bosses.
Oh.
And that was actually a lot of fun. Like because there's no rules or whatever. Like you can have like 5 copies of one card.
Right.
For instance, I think it was the Rogue Challenge, and they give you like a deck, and it has like 6 copies of one card that like, which has the effect of at the end of the turn make an exact copy of it. So I had like 10 of these things on the board. They all had like taunt and like increased attack and defense, and it's a lot of fun. And then there's heroic mode, and just fuck that mode.
It's like
it is so hard.
It's like playing Legendary on Halo.
It's like playing Legendary in Halo, but you don't have that person that's really bad, and you just tell to like hide in a corner so you can respawn. I have no idea how to beat these bosses. I beat one boss by the skin of my teeth, but the other ones I have no idea. One boss has the power to do 1 damage for every deals out 1 damage for every card in your hand to a random character.
Right.
If you have 7 cards in your hand and nothing on the board, that's 7 damage to you. That's almost a third of your health's gone in 1 turn.
Holy crap.
And then on top of that, they're dropping minions.
Well, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's impossible.
And it's a deck. It's a deck. You're using a deck that they give you too. Yeah.
No. As well? You have to build a deck, which makes it even harder because you have no idea how to build against that. Because like low cost minions will just be destroyed by the random bolts, but it will save your health. Then you run out of cards. And then the last person, they have the ability at the start of their turn, they return 2 random minions on the field back to your hand. So you can't play anything too big because it won't be able to hit.
Right, yeah.
Point is, they're really, really hard, and I should be making videos of those soon.
That's really cool.
Last thing I've been playing is Heroes of the Storm, and that's been pretty great.
Well, what about it? What's the...
It's like LOL, but more fun. League of Legends. It's like League of Legends, but it has like less emphasis on last hits and like getting the buffs. The crap that I really hate about League of Legends... Because I could care less about getting red buffs or blue buffs, I think I usually play with people and they're like, dude, I'm gonna get the red buff, and I'm like, I can barely live. Okay, do that. So I'm really excited for this mode. It's like a little more arcadey as well, because like some maps have the like it's not about getting kills or like killing the bases. It's about getting coins or like holding parts of the map. No, it seems like a lot more fun.
Right.
Like a more fun but still competitive version of League of Legends, which I'm really pumped for. So
Okay, so wait a second. About Hearthstone, how was it showcasing your Miracle Priest deck and getting completely slaughtered? How was that?
I've noticed you can make the deck that are really good, like pros use them and they top,
Right.
huge tournaments. But if you don't know how to use it, I mean, it's like the deck is useless. Like I play Handlock mostly, which is like it's a top tier deck. It's like pretty much Miracle Rogue and then Handlock.
Right.
And it took me a while for it to click on how to play this deck because by first instinct it would be just rush your card drawing ability to try to get the big hand and then drop the huge creatures. But sometimes it's not the case.
Right.
So it's actually a pretty cognitive deck, and I really enjoy it. While here, Miracle Rogue, I'm still not quite sure how I like that deck because it seems like sit on it until you can do 30 damage in a turn kind of deck, which usually I like, but I don't know. I've had less success with it.
All right.
Yeah, and it felt bad. Thanks though for bringing that up. That's great. Cool.
But anyway, you can catch all of those awesome videos and everything that has to do with video games that we're going to be putting up. We're going to be catching up with all the latest video games and all that in our YouTube channel, PostGrad Games. So, anyway, I think the next thing would be my week. And my week was just really run-of-the-mill, really boring. It was just normal video stuff and watching a ton of movies. Well, not a ton, just like a bunch of random movies.
I think you use the Netflix that I pay for more than me. Because I never use Netflix.
Yeah, I definitely do. And I'm watching Bob's Burgers now, like trying to catch up with the third
It's
season.
so great! I love that show. That's like the one thing I'll watch on Netflix when I'm bored. I'm like, I don't know, I'm just gonna watch Bob's Burgers. I can watch those episodes over and over and over.
The third season.
So good.
It got way better.
And it gets better. No, it gets better too. That's the best part about Bob's Burgers. Oh my god, it's so good.
The first season was funny, but it wasn't laugh out loud funny. Like in my head.
Oh, it was, but you're wrong. You're wrong.
In my head, I'd be like, that was funny. That was good. Then the second season was like me going, like a little bit extra a little bit extra air coming out of my nostrils.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
And then the third season is me actually laughing audibly.
It got a little more zany, and I think that's what it needed. Like I said, if you've never watched home movies, which is what the guy who makes Bob's Burgers' first show was on Adult Swim, it's a very subtle, it's a very slow boil type of humor. Like somebody will just be saying something, and the kid's like, yeah, all right,
yeah,
cool. And it's just funny because it's I don't know why, but it is, and it reminds me a lot of Nathan For You, which is again that very low key, just awkward humor.
Right.
And I think Bob's Burgers season 1 is very much like that, but by season 3 it got a lot more audible and witty, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, Bob's Burgers is great, and why did it take you so long to get into it?
Well, I just started watching it because it's easier to watch 20-minute shows if you're taking a break from something like eating or doing something like that. And it also doesn't completely sap your time out like hour-long shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Yes.
The real time sink.
Yeah, that's because it's almost exactly an hour every single episode.
The last episode was an hour 3 minutes of season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
But
anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that stuff. Watched some Bob's Burgers. Did some videos.
Your week is great. It's so exciting.
I'm just getting ready for different stuff. Like I had to do a lot of stuff around the house, and I had to meet up with my advisor. So it was very. I don't know, it was very chore-y type of stuff. That's what my week was. It was just doing errands and chores and blah, 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 blah. Just stuff like that. So
I really got garage sale shopping.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Garage sale shopping. I've never actually heard
I've made bank so far. I've made a profit about $70 so far.
You just go to a garage sale and sell stuff to other people in the garage sale?
I buy their stuff and then I sell it.
Gotcha.
Like last weekend, I found Star Wars on Blu-ray, like the complete saga,
Oh, wow.
and I bought it for $5.
What?
It's $130
Yes,
set.
it is.
Yeah, and I sold it on eBay.
You sold it?
I already have it all on DVD. Why the hell do I need it on Blu-ray?
That's true. It's also the special edition. You should get the Star Wars despecialized editions.
I have the VHS collection, so that counts.
It might if it's not altered. Anyway.
It's the gold one, so I think it is the altered ones.
Oh, darn.
It's not like the one where they added Anakin shit to it.
Right.
So it's like it's altered but not too altered. Anyway, Han shot first. So we also watched a bunch of movies.
Yes, we did. And specifically, we were able to acquire one movie which
We imported the Japanese version of
Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. And it was surprisingly easy, as a matter of fact, considering the fact that it's been out for like a year or a year and a half.
Yeah, we just turned on the English subtitles and
done. So, anyway, we are going to talk Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods because this is Theater Sucks, so here's a movie. And let's go ahead and get started. So on IMDb...
Oh, I would want to see, what is it, Anarchy?
The Purge Anarchy, yeah.
But I think,
it's like...
I didn't want to watch it alone, because I thought that would be both sad and frightening. So.
You are such a sissy. Anyway, so let's get started with Battle of the Gods. So, Battle of Gods. On IMDb, it's got a 7.3. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got no score. And on Metacritic, it's got no score. So...
Well, it's coming out to America with the original cast.
The original cast of Dragon Ball Z. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z from back in the day, watching it on Toonami and stuff like that, this
big screen
is the movie that you are going to want to see because it's got everyone coming back and it's going to be awesome.
So, my one-sentence review.
Okay, wait. It's directed by Masahiro Asoda, and it is written by Akira Toriyama, who's the original writer for the entire Dragon Ball Z saga and the manga. So, take it away.
Ultimate fan service.
Yes.
The movie.
Yes.
That is pretty good, but lackluster ending.
Well, we'll talk about the ending. So
because it hasn't even come out to America. There's not even a chance people can see it.
That's true. Well, we'll just say spoiler, and then they can just skip to where we begin the next movie.
All right.
Okay, so my one-sentence review is, first off...
Too much gay porn.
Beautiful animation. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And secondly, it's the return of DBZ. It's awesome.
I mean, that's like the most exciting part about this. Because it sets up either a new series or just a whole crap ton of movies. And I am really excited for that. In whatever way it decides to come out. Weren't there movies already announced to come out?
I am not sure. But see, the thing is, everyone's obviously wondering. Because you got Dragon Ball. This is the series. You have Dragon Ball and you have Dragon Ball Z. Both of those.
Dragon Ball Z GX.
Oh, wait a second. GT. Wait a second.
GT.
Wait a second. You have
Which I hated.
You have Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Both of those are based off of the manga Dragon Ball.
No, they're not. Yeah. Dragon Ball Z is based off the manga Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball is based off the manga Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is about Goku as a kid. Then he grows up, and that's Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball GT is some weird offshoot, and it's terrible. Don't watch it.
No. Dragon Ball is all of the collections all the way up to the Oob Saga. Dragon Ball is one straight manga that goes up to like 500 and something chapters.
Yeah, but when he grows up, they start calling it Z.
Well, they start calling it Dragon Ball Z.
Because totally it completely changes.
It does.
As well.
It does. But the actual manga itself is called Dragon Ball. If I'm not mistaken, the entire thing is called Dragon Ball.
Just write into our email for incorrect.
Yes, just let us know for incorrect.
Entertainment@gmail.com.
I'm sure that you will let us know. Or on the Facebook page, PostGrad Entertainment. Anyway, so, point is...
Or text me. My number is...
Point is, yes, it is based on the manga. And yes, GT is not canon. So...
Yeah, why is that?
So,
like, is there...
Because Akira Toriyama was not involved in the making of GT. And it is not based off of any type of manga. So anything that's not based off of manga that happened in Dragon Ball or in Dragon Ball Z is considered fluff and not really, like, it's debated whether or not it's canon. But if Akira Toriyama made it, it's canon. All that Akira Toriyama did for Dragon Ball GT was a little bit of the art because they're his characters. So he drew a bit of the art, but he was not involved in the story, in the writing. He was not involved in anything.
Goku turned into that weird monkey Saiyan thing.
Yes, Super Saiyan 4 and the Golden Super Saiyan. Yeah, all that type of stuff. So, again, this movie assumes that Dragon Ball GT never happened, which is very, very important because this movie takes place between after Kid Buu is defeated and before Goku fights with Oob in the World Martial Arts Tournament, which is very important because it's about 10 years after the defeat of Kid Buu, but before the last bit of Dragon Ball Z occurs.
Why? What happens when he faces Oob?
He just fights Oob. Oob is the reincarnation of Buu, but he is a purely good creation, and that kind of...
How do we know it's 10 years before that?
Because I know that I read that somewhere that it was 10 years after.
10 years after he fought Oob?
10 years after he fought Majin Buu, like the Majin Buu saga, when he defeated Kid Buu with the ginormous spirit ball.
No, I got it. Yeah.
So it's 10 years after that, but...
Is it before Cell or after Cell?
So you have Frieza, you have the androids,
right?
You have Cell, and then you have Majin Buu. Okay, can we talk about this really quick, just overall Dragon Ball Z? So it was crazy because first, Goku defeats Frieza, and that was epic beyond belief.
I mean, that was like 20 hours of just hearing people scream and planets being destroyed. Yes.
And Krillin dying, like...
Yeah.
and then eating Zenzu beans. So anyway, you had the awesomeness that was the defeat of Frieza, which was the first major, like, planet buster character that they had. And then, all of a sudden, Goku comes back to the planet, Frieza shows up, and you're like, what? Frieza survived? Oh my god. And then all of a sudden, Trunks from the future shows up and just slices Frieza right in half. And you're like, it took Goku an entire season to defeat Frieza, and Trunks just killed Frieza in one go.
I mean, this is a common pattern in Dragon Ball, and you even see it again in this movie.
Right. Yeah. And
oh my god, this thing is the most powerful thing ever, and then like a flick of a finger kills it.
Right. Yeah. And it's just impressive because then the androids were way powerful, and then all of a sudden Cell shows up and just eats the android, and you're like,
God, that was terrifying.
Cell was terrifying. The original Cell was terrifying.
All of them were terrifying.
Oh my god. Like sucking the life out of the person, that was horrifying. Yeah. Cell gave me nightmares for a while. And then you had Cell, and Cell was disgustingly scary. That was a really scary moment. And then you got Majin Buu, which you were like, this guy isn't even a threat. You know, you had Buu going like, acting like a little idiot. And then that first moment when Buu gets mad and goes, I make you into a cookie. And he made someone into a cookie and ate him. And you went, oh my God, what is happening right now?
Yeah. And that was weird. And they're all being controlled. Like Vegeta was evil.
Yeah, well,
again.
They were being controlled by Majin, right? His name was just straight Majin, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure it was Majin.
Yeah. But it was just the basic controller, and you had Majin Buu being controlled by Majin, then you had Vegeta being controlled by him as well. And then they had to turn to Gogeta and blah, 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 a bunch of other stuff. Basically, he defeated Majin Buu, but Majin Buu then turned into Evil Buu. Goku went inside Evil Buu, pulled out Majin Buu, or at least the normal Buu, just Buu. He pulled him out. Evil Buu goes like, oh no! He starts melting, and all of a sudden, like, he starts spewing out gas, and then he turns into Kid Buu, which was horrifying. Kid Buu was terrifying.
Mm.
And then Goku defeats Kid Buu with a giant spirit bomb, and then we have this movie. So Buu is a good character. He's good now, just in general.
This was kind of an asshole.
Well, yeah, that's because he's fat. But anyway.
Wow. Whoa.
So anyway,
he likes pudding.
Let's actually talk about the movie now that we got the whole canon out of the way, because we've been talking about it for a while. So anyway, tell me about it. First off, the animation was glorious. Second off,
what'd you think of the computer generated stuff? I want to talk about that because that's new for the series, obviously.
It is new, and I actually when I first saw some of the trailers and I saw that there was a lot of computer generated stuff, I was a little bit taken aback by it. I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but seeing the characters interact with that computer generated background was kind of really cool.
What was the point of having the computer generated meatball?
I don't know. It was just I don't know. It was really strange because it was like an art style in and of itself, which was really cool. I don't know. Like that one scene, the one scene that really exemplifies that is when Goku is fighting this guy, the main bad guy. Beerus. But I believe in the English version, it's going to be called Beerus, which is kind of racist. But anyway, it's Beerus. And he was fighting him, and they landed in the desert, and they were fighting, and it's all computer generated. And all of a sudden, they punch together, and you get a crater that forms, and all of the pieces of gravel and ground and rocks float in the air really quick. And that shot was gorgeous. It was so good. Again, the animation is spectacular.
It reminded me of the original, like, Dragon Ball Z movies. Like, you know when you watch a show and you're like a little janky, and then they make a movie of it, and you're like, "This is so much better."
Yes,
that's how it definitely looked.
Yeah, the budget definitely.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about the comedy? Because there were a couple really funny scenes. Like it
was really funny. It felt way more cartoony than I remember.
Well,
like this whole movie felt a little more juvenile. Than I remember it Dragon Ball being, because Dragon Ball was pretty dark.
Well, Dragon Ball Z was jokey and juvenile when it needed to be, but it was really heavy with drama and stuff when it needed to be as well.
Which I feel like this movie is not so much the drama part. It felt very lighthearted the entire time.
It did. It
like,
felt...
yeah, the world was in peril, but it wasn't that big of a deal.
Right. It felt like like a frolic through the park almost, but with giant explosions. And I also think that it's because they mixed that. I think the Pilaf character, he was from Dragon Ball. So those characters were from the original Dragon Ball, and that's why they brought them along, so that it would be, like you said, it was fan service. It was basically a hark back to what we had seen previously.
And the whole thing was trying to outdo everything that Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z did, which was, I mean, for God's sake, the Dragon Balls were a prize in bingo.
Yeah, right. That's true. Yeah, exactly. And what I thought was really funny was when you had the dragon Shenron, when he saw that Beerus was there, he was like, hello Beerus. Like, because the entire time that you're in Dragon Ball Z, you see these dragons as insanely powerful creatures, you know?
Yeah.
And
like, it was the whole point of the series of Dragon Ball.
Right. And then all of a sudden you see an actual god, this Beerus guy. And the dragon is, I guess, starstruck by the fact that the god is actually there. And honestly, I liked how they had the character design for the god, how he was so unimposing and not menacing at all.
Totally. He was innocent. He was a cat. He's like an Egyptian cat.
Exactly.
And it was great.
Yeah.
And I mean, it matched the tone perfectly of this. Yeah, of course, like the world's in peril, but you kind of felt like it wasn't the whole time. Beerus was not an evil character.
Yeah, it wasn't. He was just
looking for a challenge.
Yeah, he was looking for a challenge, but the thing is, he's not an evil character. He's just it's
doing his job.
Yeah, but it almost embodies that ideal of natural randomness, where it's not about a planet being worth it because of the people. It's like it's a flip of the coin. You know, he can show up and get smacked in the face by the wing of a butterfly and go, I really didn't like that. And all of a sudden the earth gets blown up. You know, it's those like minuscule things that can just blow everything to smithereens. It's almost a natural law. You know what I mean?
The whole point he wanted to destroy the world was because he didn't get pudding. Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah, it was so tiny. And so I think that was the one thing missing that I would have wanted, because the whole point of Dragon Ball Z, these like really overdrawn, over masculine, Frieza's gonna destroy us all for 8 hours, and then this huge battle happens for another 8 hours.
That's true.
And it missed that. And it was it felt like almost like the prologue to a grander story about to happen.
It did, but then again, it was a movie. It wasn't the series. You can't really have Goku powering up for 30 minutes in a movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, but you can. And he did.
Okay. Can we talk about that first encounter with the god and Goku? Because that was crazy.
That was pretty cool.
That was crazy. When he first, because Goku was like,
don't spoil it, because that was like the best part.
That was terrifying, honestly, because you didn't think something like that was gonna happen, and then it happened, and it blew your mind. It dropped my jaw. I was like, how could what? It was crazy.
Yeah, I really like the movie. I'd give it a solid 7.
Nah, dude, I'll give it an 8. I'll go
Really?
further than you. I will give that movie an 8. I really
Uh,
enjoyed it. I thought
I
I thought it was funny. It was quirky. It was the Dragon
like,
Ball Z that we remember with
except for the
just
voice cast. I really, if it had the original voice cast, I'd probably boot it up to an 8. But with the Japanese with the subtitles, probably give it
you're probably gonna watch it as soon as it comes, aren't you?
Oh
Because you
yeah,
haven't
I'm gonna go, and there's gonna be like 50 other people because I'm probably gonna have to go alone, and we're gonna be like
your age.
screaming and yeah. Well, hopefully it's not gonna be awkward.
It'll probably be people your age, dude. Come on, let's get
I'm
real.
hoping. I'm really hoping, and it's gonna be like, yeah, Goku.
Yeah, but this movie was great, and I do want to talk about the ending. So spoilers, jump ahead, way ahead. Well, not really way ahead because I'm just gonna say it right now, and then we'll talk about the ending.
Like right
So spoilers.
now.
Spoilers
Okay.
about the ending. So
What a letdown. I
don't
wanted somebody to die.
no, I don't think it was a letdown because this is one thing that we really never saw in Dragon Ball Z. We never saw Goku actually and legitimately lose. And he did lose because he would have lost. He would have gotten destroyed. He would have gotten demolished easily. The thing is, we've never seen him lose. And more than that,
I'll be happy about it. He's lost, but he usually just dies.
Exactly. He either dies or something like that, but like at the same time, he always goes back and fights the person again later and defeats them, you know? Like
Right.
he's the one that's killed most of the main characters, and if not, he's had a hand in their death, like with Cell helping his son, Gohan, kill him. So it's stuff like that where he lost, but not only did he lose, he admitted it. He said, I lost, you know? And then they both laughed about it, which was a really big character shift for Goku.
But it was like an hour of fun, and then it was like 20 minutes of fighting. I think I wanted like 20 minutes of fun, and then just an hour of people yelling and shooting Kamehamehas.
I mean, I guess, but at the same time, it was not about fighting like crazy because you can't do that with a god. You know what I mean? It was those 20 minutes of fighting was more to show the futility of trying to fight against a godlike creature. You might get the upper hand every once in a while, but in the end, nature always wins.
For now.
Yes.
I mean, the gods literally said at the end, there are people way powerful than me. You probably will have to face them.
I love
like, all right.
I love how he was like how the gods said, you were the second most powerful person I've ever fought. And it makes you wonder who was the first.
It was Waze.
What?
It was his mentor. That's who he was referring to.
Maybe. I doubt he's fought his mentor.
Why wouldn't you fight your mentor?
I don't know. Though Wiz was insanely powerful too.
He didn't show it, but
oh yeah. They're both so unimposing.
Yeah.
Also, have you noticed that most of the stuff that has to do with Dragon Ball Z, they come in twos?
Yeah, like brothers.
Yeah, brothers or partners. There's always two people.
Except for Majin and Cell. And the androids had 3.
No. Cell was created by, I believe, one of the androids or the person that created the androids as well. So it was Cell and the dude, and then Cell ate the dude. And Majin had the helper person with him. They always come in twos, or most always.
The androids had 3 because it was
Android 7
and the big dude.
Yeah, 16, 17, and 18. Yeah.
Anyway, so do you think the American one's going to be edited? Because like there's alcohol in here, there was cursing, and there was blood, and that was not in the American version. Unless you got the uncensored version.
I hope it does.
So I think the movie. I hope the movie keeps the blood and the cursing and the alcohol, but I think some of the humor could be tuned to more like because Goku in the Japanese version is like way more kiddish. I feel, while in the American one, like yeah, he's kid-like, but he is definitely more serious.
He definitely is, and his voice is like
oh my god,
his voice shows it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's like the main point. So I think some of the lines will have to be altered a little bit.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I really enjoy how the characters that have a deeper voice are, like King Kai, have changed to have a weirder voice in the American ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and then Goku's is totally weird. Yeah. I couldn't stand it.
Well, I got used to it after a while.
Yeah, he stopped talking. It started just yelling. So.
Yes. Anyway, so yes, I would give this movie a solid 8. I think it is the perfect reintroduction into the Dragon Ball Z universe.
I completely agree. I give it a 7, and then when I watch it in like 2 weeks, actually I think it's like next week. It's
like a week. It's a week and a half.
No, it's next week. It's like a week from today.
The 7th? No, it is.
Oh, it's the 7th. I thought it was the 1st.
No, it's the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, I believe.
I'll have to watch it the 5th because I leave the 6th. I might not be able to see it. Oh no.
You'll be able to see it, I'm sure.
Well, I'm moving to Philly then.
I'm sure you'll be able to see it.
If not, I'm sure we'll buy it or some shit.
Yeah, I kind of want this movie. I want a hard copy on Blu-ray, something like that. Anyway, yes, this movie, awesome. So anyway, we are moving on to our Netflix movie spotlight. Totally not sponsored by Netflix yet. The movie was Exam. On IMDb, it's got a 6.9 rating. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 63 with a blank top critic score. There are 2 top critics, and both of them are fresh, so it's an 100, but it doesn't have 3 top critics, which is what's necessary to break the Rotten Tomatoes score. Then you have nothing on Metacritic. I couldn't even find it on Metacritic. Anyway, it is directed by Stuart Hazeldine, and it stars Adar Beck, Gemma Chan, Natalie Cox, John Lloyd Fillingham, Chukwudi Iwuji, Pollyanna McIntosh, Luke Mabley, Jimmy Mystery, Colin Salmon, and Chris Carey. So,
Jimmy Neutron's in this movie?
Yes, he is. So,
cool.
Anyway, one sentence review for this movie is...
I didn't watch it.
A suspenseful thriller that has a little bit more beneath the surface than what they actually show, but it never actually gets to the point where it utilizes all of its assets. And I'll explain really quick. So Cognitive Gamer didn't watch it because he's a busy son of a monkey.
Dude, I don't know where time went this week. Like, this has been the fastest week of my life.
It has, hasn't it? It felt like a really fast week.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, for the Cognitive Gamer, I'm going to try and sell him this movie. Let's see. So I liked it. However,
you already lost me.
However, I don't think it utilized all of its assets to its fullest potential. And that is because it didn't really embrace the alternate history timeline where it's at. It's basically this weird biotech company that is in the last necks of its hiring process. And it grabs these 8 people, puts them in a room, and gives them a test. And they give them a person in the front, stands in the front, it's the Inquisitor, and he gives the rules for the exam. Then he just walks out of the room. They all have papers in front of them. They flip the paper over and they see nothing. There's no question written on the paper. There's no nothing. It just has candidate blank, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And then tensions start to unravel as they try and find out the question and the answer to said question. So it's almost like a mystery thriller kind of thing because they're trying to figure stuff out. And, you know, they're all in one room and they can't leave the room or else they're disqualified and stuff like that. So they have 80 minutes to solve the problem, and it gets pretty crazy. It's also really funny because they have one person from every ethnicity, I swear. And it's great because they give their names based, or the most assholey and racist person of them gives everyone names. So someone's called dark, someone's called blonde, deaf, black, brunette, white, brown. You know, just they're saying like, we're not going to say the actual names. We're just going to use all of these random nicknames. And again, it gets pretty crazy. It was very reminiscent of Devil, but without one person being hostile. It was more like everyone was out for themselves. It was these people that were sort of brought together in an uneasy truce, and they had to work together, but at the same time, they were trying to screw each other over most of the time.
Right. Yeah, I'll watch that.
It was a pretty interesting movie. It was a definitely a really cool take, but I can see that it could have gone deeper into that alternate future with a little bit more, I guess, zaniness. But at the same time, I don't know how it would have done that. So that's why I'm satisfied with it. Anyway,
we have a lot of news, so
yeah, I would give it a 7.5, maybe. I think 7.5.
Okay.
So yeah, about IMDb. Anyway, so new to DVD and Blu-ray and theaters this week. We have new to DVD and Blu-ray first. Transcendence, Heaven is for Real. The Single Moms Club. Sabotage, Make Your Move. GMO, OMG. All Cheerleaders Die, Made in America, and Blue Ruin. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, do not watch GMO OMG. It is garbage. Complete and utter garbage. It's a documentary. Don't even go near it with a 10-foot pole. It is full of misinformation and lies.
Okay.
So anyway, and that's coming from a scientist, biologist. Anyway, so theaters. Theaters this week, we have Hercules, Lucy, the Fluffy movie. Yeah, it's the one by Gabriel Iglesias.
I know what it is.
So yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, it's the audience, me not. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then...
Sorry for assuming your competence, audience.
Oh my god. From this point on, we have limited release, and it is Magic in the Moonlight, a new Woody Allen movie, A Most Wanted Man, and So It Goes, Very Good Girls, Happy Christmas, and My Man is a Loser. So it is a pretty packed week for DVD, Blu-ray, and theaters as well, if you include all of the limited release ones. So,
or you can go see Transformers. I hear that's still in theaters.
Or you can go see Transformers. You can check out the posters that we made for Transformers in our Facebook page, which is pretty great. Anyway, so news. It's time to move in for news. So I'm going to start with the simple one. Number one. Anyway, so first bit of news is that Pirates of the Caribbean 5 is set for release summer 2017. And I know this because I just read it right now, but also I've been in the hubbub of not knowing when the movie's going to be in production because it's filming in Puerto Rico. When they told me, they said that they would tell us when it was coming, and then they never told us anything. So I looked it up, and it was because they had script problems, and then the production stopped, and blah blah blah. And they said it was going to continue right now around the September time. Then they pushed it to like November, December, and now they're saying that it's probably going to start next year, like next semester. So probably around February, March kind of thing. So it'll definitely be interesting, and hopefully I will get to be in this movie as well, just like I was in 22 Jump Street. So we will see. Anyway, next bit of news, sweet. We have release dates for the Sinister 6, for the Amazing Spider-Man 3, and for the Uncharted movie.
Oh, yeah, I was about to go into the Uncharted movie.
Yep.
All right.
So the Sinister 6 is supposed to be released on November 11th, 2016. The Amazing Spider-Man 3 is set to release in 2018, and it was
so far away.
It is, but the thing is, it got pushed back. So before the actual Amazing Spider-Man 3
is 4 years away.
Yes, the Amazing Spider-Man.
Will people even care 4 years from now?
The time that they were going to originally release Amazing Spider-Man 3 was June the 10th, 2016. However, it got pushed back because they were going to put the Sinister 6 movie, but it also got pushed back, and then Uncharted took June 10th, 2016 as a release date. So they were basically coordinating with their movies, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Columbia Pictures, which handles the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, they're trying to make a Marvel Cinematic Universe, but strictly centered around Spider-Man. How well that'll work out is up for debate. So anyway, next bit of movie news is the fact...
Oh, not to mention... the person that Sony wants to play Nathan Drake in Uncharted is Mark Wahlberg, which I can kind of see. I like him.
No.
Hey, I think he would play Nathan Drake pretty well.
No.
Because he can do humor very well. And Nathan Drake is a really funny character. He's not serious at all. He's just a mass murderer with a sense of humor.
Okay. I'm going to pitch someone to you that I think would be a better Nathan Drake.
Okay.
Nathan Fillion.
No, he's too old.
I don't think so, man. I think he would be good.
Now, that's like what everybody wants in the history of everybody, and one cliche, two.
Oh, come on! Who cares? He would be so good at that.
He wouldn't though. I think it would be the movie that would want, but I think it would fall a little flat, quite honestly.
All right. So
he's not an Indiana Jones anymore. I'm sorry. He's like an Indiana Bones because he's so old.
Wow. Anyway, next bit of news.
He can be his father, and they can do the Last Crusade type thing with Sean Connery.
Moving on to the next bit of news. In case you haven't heard the first trailer for quote The Imitation Game, that is the movie The Imitation Game, is just landed, and it's a biopic about the mathematician Alan Turing. If you don't know, he did a lot of cryptography work in World War II, and he managed to crack the Enigma code that the Germans were using to send encrypted messages that changed every single day. And obviously, he's played by Benedict Cumberbatch, and it stars a bunch of really famous actors from across the pond, as they would say. However, it's gotten a little bit of flack because the biographer, Alan Turing's biographer, he criticized the movie for actually downplaying Alan Turing's gay identity. However, the producers of the film rejected the criticism, and they said, and I quote, "This ongoing dialogue is greatly appreciated as it demonstrates the passion that exists for Turing's achievement and the legacy of a man we intend to honor. There is not, and never has been, a version of our script where Alan Turing is anything other than homosexual, nor have we included fictitious sex scenes, and we have responded to any and every email and Twitter message to the contrary so as to quash these unsubstantiated rumors." So, if anything, that is probably the most straightforward and direct answer from producers and from an agency that I've ever heard in my entire life.
We're going to see some cumber dick and some cumber buns, if you know what I mean.
Wow, probably. But anyway, also, one thing I wanted to point out is that I am not going to show the Cognitive Gamer this right now, but it will be linked in the description. If this is the YouTube video, it's in the description. If this is the Podomatic, it'll also be in the description. So it will be linked in the description.
All right.
So it'll be two trailers.
If you're listening to this like 8 months from now when it's on YouTube, it's in the description.
It's in the comments. So
so it's actually in the virtual reality that YouTube has created called the Fervor.
The Fervor.
And that's really where the link is located. You have to like jack in your mind, your consciousness gets downloaded. Then it's like a link, but in your mind it looks like a bridge. So you have to cross the bridge in the Fervor.
Yeah.
To get
and it's almost a rainbow bridge-esque, and you gotta astrally project out of your body and go through that connection. So it's your soul that goes through the connection. But it's weird because you can find it in there, but the problem is you'll have to walk around and it's all foggy and you can't see. But once you find the movie, you'll know it's the right YouTube video.
And there's like gonna be it's like a virtual movie. You have to like sit in a theater, and there's like a bunch of other ghost entity Fervor.
And there's always this one dude with a really annoying, almost devilish mask. He's just being a freaking weirdo in the front.
A lot of laughing, creepy smiles.
So anyway, doing away with the really stupid Matrix and steampunk future and Insidious references, the point is, I'm going to put a link to the UK version of the trailer, and I'm going to put a link to the US version of the trailer. And I want you to see both of them because I want you all to see the difference between marketing in the US and marketing in the UK. In the UK, it starts off with character development, and it gives away nothing of the plot. In the US version, it starts off with explosions and sounds going, obviously, drop into bass. And throughout the entire time, you get a lot of action shots, and then it spoils the entire movie. It proceeds to go step by step, spoiling every major plot point in the movie. So if you want, I would suggest watch the UK trailer and then watch the first about 10 or 15 seconds of the US trailer just to get a feel for how crappy the US trailer is. And
yeah, but it sells tickets. Nobody's going to be like, I want to see a biopic about a gay guy who likes codes. No, they want to hear explosions with dubstep, and then they want the entire movie spelled out for them.
That is awful.
Then they'll go see the movie again.
I hate it. I can't tell you how much I hate it. It drives me up the wall. Anyway, so we're going to keep talking about another movie.
So I try to avoid trailers, except for movie theaters, because I love those.
Next bit of news, Cognitive Gamer, click on the link that you have, is the fact that the poster was revealed for The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies.
So we have Smaug here.
Yes, so we have Smaug, and we have the character that was set up earlier. I forgot his name earlier in the series, which they didn't do in the book. They didn't set up this character in the book at all, and he's a very important character. But yes, it's basically the quintessential character standing backwards, facing a giant destructive threat or something demolished. It's a pretty standard poster, but it's pretty cool. I like it.
I enjoy it. Do you like the orange and blue mix? It's pretty standard.
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like it. I enjoy it. It's pretty cool. All right. Anyway,
As long as the badass chick that's an elf that shoots arrows comes back, man, she was the best.
that's true. You really enjoyed her. Anyway,
Ah.
anyway,
She was just a great female character, and they like created her for the fact that like J.R.L. Tolkien did not write female characters, and the fact that they like went against canon almost to create a strong female character, I think says a lot.
yes.
One of the only female characters.
All right. The next bit of news is one that I'm going to paste right now onto the chat that we have going on here for the Cognitive Gamer. Okay, Cognitive Gamer, click on this link. Don't read it, click on it, and then read it. I want to hear your reaction. Like, not read it, but like look at it.
Oh, I had this pulled up.
Did you see it?
So what's a Tarakudo?
Okay, so we have a new.
Why is it a love story?
We have a new Sharktopus movie. If you don't remember, Sharktopus is the weird ass sci-fi movie that was made with a
Like
shark mixed with an
like
octopus.
Sci-Fi Channel.
Yes, it was made. It's a shark that's an octopus as well, and it was a really crappy B movie. Now we have Sharktopus versus Tarakudo, and by the way, it is called Sharktopus versus Tarakudo, a love story, and
So
also
it's like a pterodactyl mixed with a barracuda.
probably. I mean, you can kind of see it in the action.
Yeah, it looks like a pterodactyl.
And by the way, on the bottom of this poster, it says a Roger Corman film inspired by true events. So, needless to say, I really want to watch it. And you know what's extra gonna make me want to watch it? It stars Conan O'Brien.
I can't wait for that.
This movie is gonna be fantastic. But it's okay because if this movie isn't very good, we always have Sharktopus versus Mermantula to look forward to.
When does that come out? This movie comes out August 20th.
Yes,
So does that come out August 25th?
probably.
Starts filming August 1st.
Probably, yes.
Special
So-
effects done by August 20th.
It is Sharktopus versus Mermantula, and it is coming to a theater near you in 2014, probably near the end. And
Okay,
it is another
So
sequel.
This one, the Sharktopus versus Tarakuda, airs on August 2nd.
Yes. So August 2nd is that one, and then further down in the year, we're going to have Mermantula. So those are
But
the two.
doesn't Sharknado 2 come out like this month or next?
Sharknado 2 comes out this month, and it's coming out pretty damn soon, actually. If not this week.
Great. Because the first one was so good.
It comes out. It comes out on July 30th, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me
So
if I'm
next-
wrong, but that's when it comes out, and I am going to try and watch it so bad.
Emphasis on the so bad.
It's gonna be awesome. Anyway, it's called Sharknado 2, the second one, so you know it's gonna be good. Anyway, with that,
I really hope the whole movie has the like art tone of the poster, but it won't,
oh, that would be so cool.
right?
Yeah.
Is this woman's boob in the poster like covered up?
Anyway, point is,
Yeah, that's weird.
thank you all for listening. We are done today. This has been Cool Guy and the Cognitive Gamer over there.
Wait, I have a new story.
You can what? No, I don't care. You can follow me on Twitter. You'll find what's your news story.
Jeff Bridges is a fat sack.
Wow. He says that because there was a Reddit AMA, and he told me earlier that he asked him if he was a fat sack, though I'm pretty sure he did not. Anyway, you can follow me on Twitter at the Right Pad. You can follow him at Cognitive Gamer. You can also check us out on YouTube. We are PostGrad Games on YouTube. Well, technically PostGrad and Entertainment, but you can find us through PostGrad Games. We have the old copies of the podcast on YouTube. You can skip through the entire podcast with links in the description. And you can also check out a lot of awesome video game videos, like we mentioned earlier in the podcast. You can email us at postgradentertainment@gmail.com with comments, critiques, and concerns, or you can direct them to our Facebook page, facebook.com/postgradent, or just search Postgrad Entertainment. It's basically our hub for everything that we do. And yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. We will catch you next week. We will let you know what movies and what Netflix movies we will be watching for next week on our Facebook page. So pay attention to that.
Don't watch the Golden Teapot.
Oh my, the brass teapot.
Whatever.
Anyway, thank you all. We'll see you next time.